Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the recovery addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
They got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit. He roughing him up.
All right, lunch is over. It was delicious, I might add. Where did my chat go? It disappeared. Let's try that again. There we go. No, that's not good. And all that, I lost the words. I lost the chat I needed. Oh man, it's good. DMB second us. Congratulations on winning the internet one more time. She comes in and says, "Oh, fine. I guess I'll take responsibility for it." DMB, congratulations. You are the winner of everything IP related. But I don't have it on my screen because it disappeared for some reason. I made my chat disappear, and now the most current chat I have is from Ritz, but there was a lot before Ritz. I've got like pages of chat before Ritz. Breaking news out of the Jensen case. Just now, I saw some of you talking about this in chat, that they just got back from lunch, and the judge asked Mr. Jensen if he wanted to testify. He said no, did not want to testify. And so he will not be testifying in his own defense. That being said, I think that's for the better for him. And the defense is going to rest. And so we're, right after, I think the jury's being seated right now. As soon as the jury gets back and has a seat, the state will have some rebuttal witness or witnesses. And then we're going to go on. It'll be jury watch, verdict watch for Mr. Jensen. So might have some news today. Might be a long case. You never know how long they're going to deliberate. I think they did 30 hours the first time around. So maybe it'll be shorter this time. All right. Whoops. Helps if I don't hit my microphone there. We've got everybody filing into court. I think we've got just a few minutes to do roll call here. DMB's here, 6-Volt Bus, Golden Mom, Roxanne, Miss Chris, Weather Watch, Ritz. Let's see. I'm trying to find. Oh, there we go. So Ritz, that's where it picks up right here with Ritz. Shutterbug, 6-Volt Bus, Alexis. Hi again, y'all. How are you doing, Alexis? Good to have you here. Let's see, Little Miss, Well and Break Demon Puppy struck again. Just bought a new $11 charger yesterday. She chewed it up, so I'm going to try the dollar store. If they have, I'm going to load up. Oh man, dogs and chargers. Hope they don't. That can be a bad deal. Adam, I still need a pronunciation guide on your last name. Is it Nusk? Nusky? Nusky? Nusk? I don't know. Were any of those right? Let me know. Ed, you're here. Richard as well. In the intro pic, Buster's bow tie looks like it should spin. Now I can't see it. It's not on my screen anymore. So, let's see. Roxanne is here. It does spin. Whee! And then he needs a little propeller on the top of his head too. That needs that one as well. With a little rainbow hat. Let's see. Little Miss is here. We got you. Nancy popped in real quick just to say hi. Everyone is at lunch. Yep, we are. We're back now, though. We're just getting back. The courtroom is rather bare right now. I think that's what we're looking at right now. Looks like I've got 3 feeds. 3 feeds going right now from different sources. So we'll keep an eye on that. Law and Crime has Talking Heads going right now. So we'll see. Who else do we have here? JR is here. Made it back in time. Tap, tap, tap. Is this thing on? Yes, it's on. We hear you. We hear you. Sorry, I can speak as well. Michelle Jensen's taking a pass on testifying. Right. Just saw that as we were getting ready to go live. Twisted Branches is here as well. Wasn't it supposed to last 5 weeks? Yeah, that's what we heard, but I don't know how much rebuttal they're going to have. It looks like maybe the deliberation will be the last week. State's calling rebuttal witness. I wonder what it's to. I am curious. Sharon, let's see. Tom, the defense rested. You guys are all over this. You posted this before I went live, so you're not telling me the time I hadn't announced it. So I appreciate you guys updating me and each other. Dilly Pickles all caught up, ready for more. Yep, take your seat. Victoria S is here. Horse shot and bananas. Horse sheet. I think horse sheet. Is that what goes underneath the saddle? Is a horse sheet? Or that's far underneath the saddle, more ground level. Shells, Red Pen, Tamar. Gotcha. Miss Chris Ritz Thal. What are these dancing? It's like a conga line, it looks like, of dancing bunnies of sorts. All right, we'll take it. It's afternoon. Kai Mom, hello. Good to have you here. Alexis is here. Have a seat, Shannon, as well. CG, I saw your offer on the editing on the podcast. CG, appreciate that. We're still way early in the days. We don't know what we're doing yet, but appreciate that offer. Tracy is here. Norma says, IT support here at work. I'm getting my behind kicked, but I'm listening in. Norma, just try turning it off and on again. That usually fixes it. That usually can fix most of the problems that come to you. Lori Valadebel demanded a dismissal of her case due to a lack of a speedy trial. I think Sarah Boone will make this move next. Ritz, I don't know on Lori's case, but Sarah Boone waived her right to a speedy trial like 2 years ago. She waived that. I don't think you can come back and then claim it again once waived. It doesn't work like that. But I don't think that's going to work for Lori either. Tom is here. Let's see. DMB, the internet winner. Yes, or wiener, however we want to pronounce it, depending on honor of the Jensen trial and everything. Thank you for the membership. Yes, Kai Mom, so excited you got that. Welcome. Jean, Shutterbug, Chandra, Terry. Good after lunch. Is it afternoon for you yet, or is it just after lunch? An early lunch maybe. That's all good. Ven is back again. We got her early in the morning and then once again early in the afternoon, which is was just super rare. You guys count this. This is a journal entry day. Good to have you here, Ven. Christy, Lil Miss, SB, Miss Chris. A Grumpy Cat is present with pickles. Hopefully enough to share. I'm back in meetings, so I'm on the TV. That's awesome. I imagine I'm on the big screen in Ivan's liquor store as well. So, hello to Ivan's liquor store. I wish I had the name of the store so I could do a proper shout out and just recognize the store for being our top supporting store on the channel. So, Anne is here. Alexis, Carol Martin, Sunny Florida Mom, hello, welcome back. Glad everyone made it back from lunch here safely. Arkansas Magnet Fisher Metal Detecting is present. Sharon, I've got kids going in and out of the house here right now. The alarm's going off. Let's see. Ritz, Cake Star, Ginger Meadows, Hagen. I think I just missed like 50 people as I scrolled there. Norma is here. Anne. I think I got everyone. Sunshine Sunflowers, O-Town Chill, Kevin is back, Rhonda. Yeah, you've got to put your hands up in chat. That way I can see you. Linda's here. Up to 6 degrees. It's got a heat wave. Share the wealth, Linda. Some places are not so fortunate. Portland Trailblazers TV is here. Awesome. Good to have you here. TW, Bill Brasky, Donna Thompson, Lil Miss. Angie has brought snacks. Seven is here. Yo! Hello, Seven. Good to have you. Denise, Abby, Miss Chris, CG. I think we're getting doubles here. So I think everyone else after this is late. Zach Bolton, you got in right in time. Paul, we'll count you as on time as well. Everyone else is late. You have to mark yourself late in chat. So, oh look, we're back. So we're not looking at the clock anymore. I missed that change. Thank you, Jay Breezy, Yucky. We've got quadruples. What's quadruples of Miss Chris? Minsky is here.
There's a lawsuit.
I'd rather be day working. Good to have you as well. Barnett, law student, late, barely, but you're here, so it counts. The lates don't actually count against you here. This is the roll call cutoff right here. We have to stop. Trial is going to start here any minute now. So let's see what we've got. Nems Girl says, I've been here, but I was typing like a wild woman on work stuff. Yeah, that's what they all say. Nems, we appreciate you being here. Jill Hipple, lurking from the pool. Bella, I imagine, I was thinking about how I would do this, because it would be like my dream job to be able to like lounge poolside while live streaming. I would be in the pool, like, up to about right here and just kicking back. But I'd probably have to waterproof some of these electronics, or else I'd be fried. Mrs. Woolever, kids can draw. I guess you have to be a member to be welcomed. No. I just barely got to your name. That's all. I'm just behind in chat, and that's an exciting name. I'm trying to think. Mrs. Woolever, kids can draw. I think the two are separate. Maybe you're Mrs. Woolever, and kids can draw is your message. But welcome. I believe kids can draw. And if you have anything to do with teaching kids to draw, and that is exciting, and I'm super excited for that. Matthew Harris welcomes our law student. Welcome, good to have you, Matthew, as well. And a bunch of people just came in. Is the Mrs. a mod? No, she hasn't asked to be a mod, so I never made her a mod. She doesn't come on camera very much. Just in from walking the doggies. Hope they had a wonderful lunch as well. I was here for the intro, but I'm trying to check on interstate travel, so I'm not commenting. It's all right. You're all good. Okay, WV as well. Just waiting for the judge. I think we've got audio. Yep, we've got audio right now. A lot of noise, so I don't think the judge has had a seat yet. Just Mrs. Woolever. Woolever? If I say it wrong, let me know. I will probably say it wrong again, but I do like to know when I mispronounce things. I can use a Canon 6D and have too much invested in Pro Glass. That lenses are so expensive, and Pro Glass is very much different than consumer glass. The only nice lens I have is I think a consumer level. I just can't spend that money on lenses just for live streaming. But my favorite, Richard, is this. I've got a Sigma 16 millimeter f1.4 prime that I love. That's what I use. That's what I'm live streaming with right now. That's this picture. It does great. That's what you have insurance for. Earphones just got out. I should put you on speaker. Awesome, Bella. Chat's not on screen. Thank you. Sorry. Everyone whose name I announced and read, I put you up on screen. Consider yourself viewed by everyone else. Here, I'll go back and I'll get the one. I'm going to get Mrs. Woolever, kids can draw. There you go. You don't have to be a member to be welcomed. I just want to stress that. Just being here is enough. Thank you very much. I would just say I have drawing videos on YouTube. Awesome. I will have to check that out. My wife does homeschooling, and so obviously things that are involved with teaching kids things are of interest to us. Let's see. So bright, can't see text. Yeah, it wasn't on the screen. That was my fault. Just watch the boat wreck video. Oh, there's a video, Linda? It's like they filmed the boat crash that the Murdaugh family's related, connected to. Man buns for everyone today. You must be watching the Jensen trial. His son testified today, and he has a man bun. Love the smell of copper tone. Cool. The superior man bun. Queen Olive is back. There you are. Wonderful. Okay, we're about ready to get started. It's going to be a little slow. I think we're going to have probably another firearm or maybe some more ammunition presented as evidence. That's just me. We've had other cases. I'm thinking which one? The Border Patrol case. Yeah, the Border Patrol murders, I think, was one where they only tested a certain number of items. I don't think that was the case here. I think South Carolina tested everything. So all this evidence we'll hear that they tested of some sort. Let's see. Oh, Barnett Law student is in Texas as well. Or from Austin, and currently at St. Mary's. Okay, so awesome. There was a 40-car pileup this weekend on I-80. Absolute crap weather in Wyoming this week. I heard about that. That is, winter is always crap in Wyoming. I apologize to anyone who lives there, but winter, traveling through Wyoming in the winter is awful, always. Yes, I will check them out, Mr. Woolor. That's exciting. I'll probably send my kids over there too. Read a story first I have written and illustrated, and then teach the kids how to draw the character of the stories. That's cool. I've got a couple kids. I've got some younger ones that I think would love that. I've got my journal handy. January 30th, Ven was early to count them 2 live streams today. Yes, Ven was early twice. Journal entry day. Will there be music during the pauses? I could do music. We could do that if you wanted. It would probably be better than me just talking. I need more suggestions for music, and I need them to come from the YouTube's music library. There was a 70-car pileup in the Wisconsin-Illinois border over the weekend. Good grief. Man, it's just a bad winter to drive on the whole. Just stay inside and watch reruns of me. That's the answer to everything. A little Metallica, that's one way to get my account copyright stricken for sure, Bill. But a little Enter Sandman would be appropriate now, or maybe a Whiskey in the Jar or something. I'm not sure which one you would prefer. I have listened to a lot of Metallica in my days. Not so much recently. It's just I like some of the classics, but don't listen as much. Lori's here. Hopefully your husband is feeling better. Thank you for taking care of him. And you take care of you first. We'll be thinking about you and welcome you back whenever you're able. I love this song. I'm working on lyrics just for you. I can't wait. If you've got some lyrics that go to this, obviously you're going to have to sing it. You're going to have to sing it. A little Megadeth, Five Finger Death Punch. Let's turn it up to 11 here, right? If we're going to go with, why not go all the way? Kelly is here as well. Yucky, good to have you. Isn't that the Oregon Trail music? It sounds similar. Wait for it. We say howdy here. Howdy. Little Headbangers Ball. For those that aren't familiar with the bands we're talking about, they're a little harder than the music we're listening to right now. Let's just say the guitars might be a little overdriven, and the vocals might be a little overdriven as well. A hospital shooting in Florida over the weekend. Was that the husband-wife, Ann, you're talking about? The husband was sick, and they had made a pact, I think, weeks before, if we're talking about the right one. And she went in, and I think the plan was for him to execute the plan, but he didn't have the strength, so she took matters in her own hands. But after shooting him, did not shoot herself. And then it was a several-hour standoff. It's really a sad situation, but several-hour standoff. A flashbang was used, and the police moved in. Were able to take her into custody. Let's see. A man of constant sorrow for this trial. I would love to use anything from the... here we go. We've got some feeds coming in here. Just 1 second. Looks like the judge is walking in. Give me just 1 second. I'm trying to get everything timed up. There we go. Okay, let's see if we get some audio here, which we don't have yet. There we go. Blue Ranch Mafia. Good to have you.
Back.
Did we lose a witness during lunch?
You may bring the jury.
Well, Barnett, law student, you're welcome to comment anytime. We'd love to get your input and feedback on what you know and what you've learned and how it applies to different cases. Judge brought an ice cup. Okay, give me a minute here to get all my feeds synced up. Got a few going. I've got another one I really like the colors on, but it's too far ahead. So give me just 1 second. Let me pause it just briefly. You won't see the pause. I'll do it on my end.
All the jurors are present.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Senior Special Agent Croft, a couple things I want to kind of go back to just as a housekeeping matter before we move on to new matter. And previously shown these to the defense counsel. All right. So we'll show you some images. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit. What we're doing first. 163, 173, 158, 175, 176, 177, 179,
Let's hit it in the microphone with
180,
each exhibit.
181, and 183. And just have you generally flip through those and see if you recognize those images.
Sorry, I'm trying not to ignore you, but I'm also trying to line up all my streams so I can cut back and forth between the different feeds as they get better or worse.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, and just generally, what are these images of, if you would?
Those are still images taken from my body-worn camera the day of the 8th.
So these are still images from the body-worn cameras that the jury saw prior to lunch?
That is correct.
All right, Your Honor, this time the state would move in states 163, 173, 158, 175, 176, 177, 179, 180, 181, and 183, I believe, without objection.
No objection.
Admitted.
Good, they agreed on
Go
that.
through these real quick if we could, if I could get the input to the Elmo. Looks like it is on the Elmo. All right. And we got
Somebody's been
this
working through
fancy
lunch.
setup
Everything's
here.
set up.
See if that'll do better for us. All right, can you tell me what this image is of, please? And this, for the record, my apologies, would be States 163.
That is a picture of the pool table in the gun room that with the 300 or AR-15 300 blackout sitting on the pool table, which I collected out of the gun rack.
All right, and that person right there, who is that?
That is Mark Bull.
All right, I'm going to show the jury now 173. And tell me what this image is, please.
That is that AR-15 rifle 300 blackout sitting in the gun wall before it was pulled from the gun wall, placed on the table.
All right. Still image 158. Can you tell me what that is, please?
That is what I was describing as the side door which enters to the gun room without going through the main part of the house. The stoop and out in front of that is where items were collected.
And what items are you talking about?
The 5 300 spent shell casings were collected out in front of the stoop.
All right. Going to go now to exhibit 175. And what is that image?
That is the same side door, just a different angle, same stoop.
All right. 176. Tell me what that is, please.
That is the brick landing at the bottom of the stoop, and just in the center, down low, close to the bottom, you can see a 300 spent 300 blackout casing.
What am I pointing out with my finger right now?
That is the spent 300 blackout casing.
All right. Go to exhibit number 177. Tell me what this still image from your body cam reflects.
That is my hand, and I have picked up a spent 300 blackout casing from the side of the stoop.
All right. 179.
Those are the three 300 blackout casings which were collected at the, in front of the stoop.
All right, and now 180.
That is the left-hand side of the entrance of the gun room, just in the flower bed.
All right, and do we see cases in that image? You can step down if you need to. I know your screen's pretty small. If you need to step down, that's fine.
I like this other picture. The colors are a little richer on this one. But it helps if I have the audio still going though, right?
180, and see if you can make it out.
Yes, sir, it would be at the
A
bottom.
little oversaturated,
of
but it
the
looks
picture
better.
about in the center.
All right, well, let me have you come around, or you can do it. I'm gonna put it back up and do it screen for the jury, please.
It would be right here.
All right, sounds good. You can retake the stand, please.
We just got started again, just barely. So nothing really major's happened yet.
Moving on to 181. Tell the jury what this still image reflects, please.
That is three of the 300 blackout spent casings that was collected at the base of this, at the front of the stoop.
All right. And then finally, jumping the gun, we have 183.
Do you see Nancy there?
Tell me what that reflects.
I didn't see her there.
That would be to the, I believe, the right-hand side of the stoop, and just at the end of my hand, I'm fixing to pick up a spent 300 blackout casing.
What is my finger pointing to right there?
That is the 300 blackout casing which I'm talking about.
Fixing to pick up.
Right before lunch, there was admitted into evidence states 152 and 151, and you got your readers with you?
I do, yes, sir.
Can you remind us where those items were collected, please?
The ammo was collected from the shelving in the gun room, 300 blackout ammo, on 9/13 of 21, and the 300 blackout the 243 magazine with 300 blackout ammo in it was collected from a black Ford F-150 that was located on the property.
And you got a knife on you?
So this is ASMR
Do you mind
time.
opening that exhibit for us? And let's take a look at those items, please.
He's like, you got a nice knife on you? Everyone in the courtroom's like, yep. So much for courtroom security, right? Not a K-bar, no.
There's a lawsuit.
Do you want me to open the brown bags also?
I do.
It's an AR knife, yep. The judge is like, how did this witness get so close to me with a weapon? I don't know how he got it in. Possibly because there's law enforcement. He's probably, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a concealed carry as well. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Mess with that one first, if we could. Can you remove the item from its packaging, please?
Ooh, pretty gloves. They match, was it Anjanette Levy's coat today? I think she was wearing purple. It has like a flare at the waist. So if you see her walk in the background, you'll see her. She was going in and out of court this morning. Oh, it's getting exciting. Everyone's gloving up.
What you got there?
It's a magazine which fits the AR style rifle that is loaded with 300 blackout ammunition.
All right, and can you see what brand that is on there? On the rounds that you can see?
Appears to be S&B 300 blackout.
S&B 300 blackout.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to take that item. I'm going to put this up on the screen so the jury.
Just pass it to the jury. Let them handle it. Why are they so red? I just made them red. I can make them less red if that's better.
All right, go ahead and open the other one for me, please. Before we move on, we're not pulling all the ammo out. Does this magazine appear to be relatively full?
It's pretty heavy, so it's pretty full.
All right. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and just put that one back for me, please. And then go on to the next one.
Yeah, the state has not proved it yet, in my mind either. I believe there's a lot of evidence still to be introduced, but I am open-minded either way right now. He's still innocent until proven guilty. Can you make them green? It's not easy being green. I could. If he cuts himself with this knife, then we get all sorts of organic matter material. Okay, that's just wrong. Did he just put his knife in his suit coat pocket?
Cut the bottom of the bag.
Because I'm pretty sure that's against the law.
What you got now?
You hear? I
This
just
is
slid him
another
until proven
magazine
guilty,
that
and I
fits
just
AR
pretended like
style
nothing was going to
rifles
happen.
loaded with
But
300
Matthew
blackout.
Harris is like, no,
Tell
unless
the,
proven
particular
guilty.
brand of that 300 blackout.
It's head stamped S&B 300 blackout.
All right. Let me go put that up on the screen for the jury.
Yay, the car's ready. Cuts like a knife. It does.
All right. Just real quick before you put it back, we're not taking all the bullets out or cartridges out. Does that appear to be fairly well loaded?
It's got some weight to it. It feels like it's fairly loaded.
All right. If you can return that to its bag, please. And then put those back in the plastic bag for me.
What do you guys think about storing clips fully loaded? I'm not talking about a safety standpoint. I'm talking about the possibly damaging the spring so it doesn't feed properly in the last few rounds. What do you guys think?
We've been talking about guns for a while. Let's talk about something else for a minute, and then we'll get back to guns.
Cops is filled on location with the men and women in law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. That's the one you want changed. Innocent unless proven guilty. Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue like until does. Yeah, but I am honestly though I'm still open-minded on this. I believe it's.
All right.
I have seen some circumstantial evidence,
Going back
but
to
nothing
June
that's
8th,
proven it yet for me.
2021, were you present when any efforts were made to collect the cell phone belonging to Maggie Murdock?
Yes, sir, I was.
All right, and who all were you present with when that when that happened? And just kind of describe the events as they took place, please.
It was myself, Special Agent McAllister, Captain Ryan Neal, Dylan Hightower. There was one or two more people there, but I don't recall.
Okay. And ultimately, was that phone located?
The phone was located a short distance from the crime scene.
All right. And where was it, just generally?
If you would come out of 41, out of the driveway of the residence, take a right on Moselle Road, quarter mile, half mile. I don't recall the exact distance. On the left-hand side of the road, kind of in the grass area.
When y'all found it, what happened then? Who picked it up? Who collected it? What happened to it at that point?
Captain Neal picked it up. Special Agent McAllister held it in her hand while a picture was taken of it, gloved hand. We were given the passcode to the phone. Passcode was entered into the phone just to verify that it would work, it would unlock, and it did work, it did unlock. It was immediately shut, locked back, and then passcode was written on a sticky note. It was packaged and ultimately turned over to crime scene.
Okay, and you were there when all that happened, is that correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
It's packaged with a sticky note.
Described, was it otherwise manipulated or tampered with or changed in any way?
No, sir, it was not.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been previously marked for identification at this time as Exhibit 204, and have you just take a look at that.
This is her phone, right?
Recognize that item.
It was found on the side of the road a ways away. Don't look, Ethel. It was too late. She'd already been mooned.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, tell me what that item is.
This is the phone that was recovered on the side of the road belonging to Miss Maggie Murdock.
The one you just described?
Yes, sir, it is.
The one that was secured by Captain Neal?
Yes, sir, it is.
And then turned over to crime scene?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, put it back in if you will.
Matthew, are you getting into divorce work as well? Is that what you're hinting at?
Just real quick. All right, at this time, Your Honor, we would move Exhibit 204 into evidence, I believe without objection.
Submitted.
All right. Let me ask you this question. Do you know a guy by the name of John Bedingfield?
Yes, sir, I do.
And is that somebody you knew before this case?
Yes, sir, it is.
And how do you know him, just generally?
John grew up in Barnwell, just like myself. He actually has a son that's the same age as my son. They went to school together, played ball together.
Thanks, Lindsay. I'll watch for that.
A number of years.
And what does John do for a living, do you know?
He is a DNR officer.
All right, and does he have a side business?
He does.
And just generally, what does that side business do?
He's got a gun business where he builds, works on firearms.
Okay. And prior to this case ever happening, did you ever have any conversation with John Bedingfield about whether or not he had assembled any guns for Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And is that something that you knew prior to this case ever taking place?
Yes, sir, it is.
After this case took place, well, let me ask you this. Did you know what ammunition was used by those guns that were assembled by John Bedingfield for Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, sir.
And what ammunition was used in those guns?
Hearsay.
Response.
Yes, not all for the truth of the matter asserted this time, but effect on the listener for his actions.
Anything further?
It's still hearsay, and I'm not sure what his actions are in response to the hearsay. I mean, he's asking questions about what he learned well before these crimes.
Objections overruled.
And so what was the ammunition in the guns from what John Bedingfield told you?
The guns were built and chambered for 300 blackout.
All right. As this case developed, did that prior fact that you knew, did that cause you to take any actions?
Yes, sir, it did.
And tell me what actions you took based on that prior knowledge you had.
I contacted John Bedingfield and asked him if he could provide me with paperwork for the weapons that was purchased by Mr. Alex Murdaugh.
All right. And was that after these particular crimes that took place?
That was after, yes, sir.
All right. You remember roughly when that was?
It was within a day or so that I talked to him, yes, sir.
All right. And did he ultimately provide you some paperwork?
Yes, sir, he did.
Was that the only conversation you had with John Bedingfield about the 300 blackouts that he built for Alex Murdaugh?
No, sir, it was not.
Was there a subsequent conversation?
Yes, sir.
Did you call him back or did he call you back?
I called him back and then to require of potential additional 300 blackout that was purchased by and paid for by Miss Maggie Murdock.
Okay, so you called him with an inquiry, is that correct?
That is correct.
Tell me what your inquiry was to John Bedingfield after he initially provided you some paperwork.
I'm sorry, sir, I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, turned away.
Because you walked away from the microphone.
Tell me what your specific inquiry was to John Bedingfield that second time when there was a subsequent conversation.
The second time that I talked to John was to inquire about whether or not he built a third 300 blackout to replace a gun that Paul had misplaced or had gotten stolen earlier in 2017.
All right, and in response to that inquiry, did John Bedingfield provide you some additional paperwork?
Yes, he did.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as standby for me real quick.
That's not what it was marked as. Trying to pull up the Moselle Farm on Google Earth. And thank you for the picture, by the way. The location of the phone. We'll show that here in just a little bit. 300 blackout is a, it's the name, the size, it's specific to a certain size of bullet, certain caliber of bullet.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked at this time for identification only. States 247. Stand by for me, just real quick.
Lots of standbys, begging indulgences.
All right, and I'm going to ask you to look at what's been marked for identification only this time as Exhibit 247 and see if you recognize that paperwork.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, and just, again, without describing the contents, tell the jury what this paperwork is, please.
It's a copy of cancel checks and copy of the sale of firearm.
All right, and this was documentation that was provided to you in response to your inquiries to John Bedingfield?
That is correct.
And who gave this documentation to you?
John Bedingfield.
All right, and I'm going to, again, without going into the contents, look at the second page and tell me, is that the document that was provided in response to your second inquiry when you called him back about a third blackout?
Yes, sir, it is.
For identification only. Missed the identification. He needs to face the microphone at all times, otherwise we're going to think he says something he didn't.
Okay. I'm going to show you two exhibits. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 162 first, and it's a disc, and see if you recognize that particular exhibit, please.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, tell me what that exhibit is.
That is a disc from, or excuse me, a video from my body-worn camera of a collection of shell casings.
All right, and does it have a date on when that occurred on it?
6/16/2021.
All right, so this is different from what we've already talked about, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, and then I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 248 and see if you recognize that particular exhibit.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, and is that additional body cam footage from that search on 6/16/21?
That is correct.
All right, Your Honor, at this time, I would move both Exhibits 248 and 162 into evidence, I believe, without objection.
Correct, Your Honor.
Admitted.
All right, so got a search on 6/16/21. Can you tell the jury a little bit about that search, how it came to pass, what was going on, and then we'll get to the footage as to what occurred.
Okay. During the investigation process, we learned that there was a shooting range and some bodies of water on the property. And when I say on the property, it's across the road from the incident location. Through discussion with the investigative team, it was decided that we needed to go over to that shooting range and also search that body of water for any potential evidence that may be found.
And this shooting range, that was still part of the Murdock property at Moselle, is that correct?
That is correct. It would be kind of diagonal to your left from where the kennels are at.
All right. And the information received was that the family used that as a shooting range?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, let me show you quickly.
Hey, Lindsay. Yeah, this is normal with this type of
Go ahead
gun,
and just quickly show you
particularly.
these.
These sporting rifles can be built
What's been marked as exhibits
configured a lot of
184,
different ways.
185 and 186, and see if you recognize those.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, and tell me what those are generally, please.
One is the picture of the shoot house. The other is the picture of the inside of the shoot house, and then the third picture is a picture of the area next to the waterway where we collected some items.
All right, Your Honor, this time I would move exhibits 184, 185, and 186, state's exhibits and evidence, I believe, without objection.
No objection.
All right, very quickly, let's put this up on the screen. 184, again, tell the jury what that is, please.
That is what I'm describing as a shoot house. It has a bench inside where you would set up to shoot targets out in front.
All right, 185, what does that represent, please?
That is on the inside of the shoot house, the chair, the stand where you would sit, and obviously the rail where you would rest your weapon.
All right, what are these little shiny things on the floor there?
That's brass from firearms that's already been fired.
All right, and is that how the scene looked when you found it?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, and then finally, 186, what does that represent?
That is two 12-gauge spent shotgun shells that was collected over near the waterway behind where we had set our dive trailer up.
All right. If I could have the inputs changed to the video, please. All right, this time I'm going to play exhibit 162. For the record, I'm going to fast forward it to about 43 seconds into the video.
Cranking the audio up, so he's going to start talking really loud.
Is that the shooting house as you observed it?
Yes, sir, it is.
I'm now at 1 minute and 19 seconds, and I have it paused. But tell me, what is this thing right here that's kind of up on the counter of that shooting house?
That would be a rest that you would put your rifle in when you're sighting it in or shooting downrange at targets to help stabilize it.
All right, when you're sighting it in, just real quick, explain with the jury what you're trying to do when you sight in a rifle that you would use that rest for.
When you're zeroing your rifle, whether it be 100 yards, 200 yards, you want to hold a rifle as still as possible, obviously. You would have a target downrange at whatever distance you're sighting it in at. You would fire 1, 2, 3 rounds, and then you would adjust your optics and continue till you get it zeroed to where you want it.
And 0 means it's shooting where you're aiming.
Yes, sir.
Ultimately, and I'm going to fast forward through a fair amount of this, but ultimately, after seeing those cases on the floor, did you see any 300 blackout that you recognized just looking down were 300 blackout?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right. And did you send Special Agent David Owen to go get some envelopes so you could collect those?
Yes, sir, I did.
And ultimately, did you collect about 17 S&B cases at that location?
Yes, sir, I did.
Hold it.
I think we could probably go back in time, pause at that
For the
moment
record,
and read the notes that
I'm
he
at
wrote, but we're not supposed to
11
be able
minutes
to.
and 3 seconds in the video.
Okay. And what is it? 300? 300 blackout? Head stamp is S&B. Okay. 300. That AAC be okay?
What are you reading out right there?
I'm reading the numbers to identify, the identifiers off the head stamp of the shell casing.
All right. Moving now to
Potato.
1207.
S&B. 300. AAC be okay.
Same ammunition?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to move now.
Near right leg. Shooting table. Hang on. I'm sorry. S&D. 300 blackout. AAC be okay.
Same thing?
Yes, sir, it is.
Also near the right leg of the shooting table. Above the chair. Okay. S and K, 300 blackout. S and K. I'm sorry. S and G. Yeah, same head strap. S and D is what you were saying. Well, what are we different? Hang on. I'm sorry, it is S and B. Oh. AAC be okay.
Same thing?
Yes, sir, it is.
Moving to 1619.
S&B 300 blackout. AAC be okay.
Same thing?
Yes, sir, it is.
Moving Moving to 1721.
In front into the
Check that. 1717.
BLK, 300 blackout.
A little too far. Let's back up to 1712.
S&B, 300. AAC, BLK, 300 blackout.
Same thing.
Yes, sir, it is.
Moving now to 18:00, about 18 minutes even.
300 blackout will be the AAC. Okay. S&B,
That's an ATV in the
300
background.
blackout will be the
Maybe a side by side.
AAC, BLK.
Yes, sir, it is.
Between the table leg and the wall of the shootout.
Now we're at 1847.
It's gonna be S&B. 300 blackouts will be 300 AAC BLK.
Same thing.
Yes, sir.
So, Frank?
Moving now to 2221.
Same hit.
Excuse that. 2216.
Stamp S&B. 300 AAC BLK.
Same thing.
Yes, sir, it is.
So just for
BLK.
information, these rounds,
2309.
each one of these rounds costs about $1 to $2 each. The S&B ones currently are running about $1 each. They're sort of on the cheaper side.
Same thing.
Yes, sir, it is.
Moving up to the right front
Now we're at 2356.
corner.
I can't see her, Tish. She might be seated somewhere else, though.
Up the shootout. Okay.
Bite me, we're having lots of ammo talk right now.
Gonna be
I think we had the
S&B.
cell phone as well. It was admitted, the wife's cell phone.
300 blackout, exactly 300 AAC BLK.
Same thing.
Yes, sir, it is.
Moving to 2452.
S&B,
Was it
300 blackout.
September?
AAC.
No, I can't remember at all.
BLK.
Hang on, let me look it up.
Same thing.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have to go get some more envelopes at this point.
I think that's what we just went to do.
All right, I'm gonna move it forward. All right, we're at now at 2802.
June 7th,
S&B,
2021 was the date that
300
this took
blackout.
place, the murders.
300, AAC
Yeah, so,
BLK.
right, thanks, Lemes, you beat
Same
me
thing?
to it.
Same thing, sir.
What?
We're now at 2908.
That's right.
Jennifer, what's going to be interesting is if all the markings on the casings show they were shot from the same gun, and the ones that were found at the crime scene
Same thing, sir.
match the same markings.
Now we're at 3027.
Okay. S&B, 300 blackout, AAC, BLK.
It's the same thing, sir.
Hopefully we don't get cross-examination on each one of these.
Now we're at 3132.
Jimmy King, that's future crime you're talking about there.
S&B, okay. 300 blackout, AAC, BLK.
Same thing.
Yes, sir, it is.
Now we're at 3216.
S&B, all right, 300 blackout, 300 AAC.
Same thing?
Yes, sir, it is.
Almost done.
Separately cataloging every single 300 blackout casing they found.
Now we're at 3332.
In front of the shoot house, in front of the chair. S&B. AAC, BLK, 300 blackout.
Same thing?
Yes, sir, it is.
It's going to be in front of the shooting chair on
We're now at 3428.
the table. S&B, 300 blackout. AAG, BLK, AA.
Same thing.
Yes, sir, it is.
You participated in multiple searches at various locations on the Murdock property at Moselle Road, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you repeatedly
Got
find
weird, sorry.
S&B 300 blackout ammunition, both fired and unfired, at various locations throughout that property?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right, we'll do one more very quick one, and this will be Exhibit 248. And I'm going to fast forward to about 102, and I've got it paused, but tell us generally where we are and what we're seeing here again, please, if you would.
This location is going to be between where the shoot house was located and the body of water that was there. It's where we had our dive trailer set up and table set up with a shade so that we could actually get out of the weather if we needed to.
And are you collecting any items here?
Yes, sir, I am.
And what are you collecting?
Spent 12-gauge shotgun shells.
All right, I'm going to let that play for a second. And we're at, for the record, we're at 24 seconds in.
Hold that.
All right, let's see. For the record, I'm going to stop it at 1 minute and 14 seconds. I'm going to show you again what's been marked as State's Exhibit 21. And are there, in fact, shotgun shells present in there?
There is.
All right. And where were those collected from, those red shotgun shells?
It's depicted on the video on the Murdock property right near the waterway.
All right.
Watching this attorney eat his pen. He stopped. Never mind. Two guns with the same shooter.
Talk about some of the things that you did in this case, and you've told this jury that a primary focus that you had here, because of your general knowledge of firearms, was to gather that type of evidence. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
But you also participated in interviews in this case as well, didn't you?
Yes, sir, I did.
You talked about interviewing Rogan Gibson. You talked about interviewing John Bedingfield, right?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Did you interview the defendant or participate in an interview with the defendant?
Yes, sir, I did.
Do you remember what day that was that you participated in an interview with the defendant?
I don't remember the actual date.
Let me show you Exhibit 243 and see if you recognize this exhibit.
Okay. Yes, sir, I do.
All right. And what is that disc?
This is a recorded interview which was conducted with Alex Murdaugh on 6/10 of 2021.
All right. Are your initials on this disc?
They are.
Jim.
Man, this completes the 12 disc box set.
243, I believe, without objection.
I think that pin's about to fall off his jacket, his lapel. I think it's the back end's come off. Next time you look at the witness, tell me if you think the same.
While you're setting that up, might I move these gun cases up? Defendant can't see the jury.
Who was that? The defendant can't see the jury, and somebody said something, and then, that's not my problem. I think it said something about the jury can't see the... So they're arguing about who gets to see what. It would just be a lot easier if everyone was allowed to see the exhibits, as gory as they are. We're now stacking guns in the courtroom.
Yeah, Judge. Sure.
Hey, Denise. I think most of us are doing well. We've got a couple people to keep in mind that are either recovering or dealing with some health concerns of themselves or their significant others. But it's Monday, and we're all a little bit sleepy after lunch. Had a nice lunch, and now we're getting bored to death by this attorney who's introducing each item of evidence one at a time. Each bullet casing from a shooting range where there were probably tons of bullet casings or cartridge casings.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty nice room, huh?
Just do a quick bit of housekeeping. You had talked earlier about your inquiries to John Bedingfield about the 300 blackouts. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
And I want to show you what's been marked for ID only 245 at this time and see if you recognize that document. You pull it out of the sleeve.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. And without going into the contents of that document, where did you get that particular document?
I received this document from John Bedingfield.
As part of the inquiries that you earlier described to the jury?
That is correct.
All right. I'll take that off here. The interview of the defendant on June 10th, 2021, where did that take place?
It was Hunting Lodge.
Your Honor, this time we're going to play Exhibit 243, the second interview of Alex Murdaugh.
While this is playing here, I want to show you a quick picture. This is what Kathy had tweeted out. This is in the gun room. This is a snapshot from the body cam in the gun room. It looks like the wall of a Cabela's store, or a, it looks like a sporting goods store.
Can I take this call really
Yes,
quick?
sir, go
This
right
is
ahead.
my sister-in-law.
Yes, go ahead.
And she's trying to. Hey, Mary. Okay, Lynn, I'm meeting with Mary, when I'm meeting with law enforcement, so I'll call you in just a minute.
Thanks. I don't have a card. That's fine.
Did Chelsea call you? Okay. Okay. Can you let Chelsea know and then make her run Lynn down? Okay, well, tell her to go get Christy to find Lynn. Get any one of the secretaries to find her. All right. Thank you. Sorry to put that on you. Bye.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
7.
One thing I want to do before we start is I'd like to get a cell phone exam so we can just corroborate everything. Let me get a consent, and I got a guy here that's going to do it.
Are you going to download it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
So I'll get to keep my phone?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Who was the guy that was there to download Alex's phone? Do you remember?
Dylan Hightower with the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office.
He works with the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office?
That is correct.
At that point in time, that was the prosecutor's office in charge of the case?
That is correct.
It was not until August that the case got sent to the Attorney General's office?
That is correct.
How much attorney-client privilege stuff is on there?
A lot.
Okay. We do have a taint attorney that's going to examine it before we ever do.
What is a tank attorney?
A taint attorney, they look at somebody who's not affiliated with the case that makes sure that there's, Jim, do you know? Can you explain it better?
Sure, and I mean, it's a privileged attorney that doesn't, if there is attorney-client privilege information, it's redacted or extracted by the taint attorney.
How do they know who's the client?
I know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
You know what?
But
if y'all get some attorney-client
whoever
stuff.
that is, would go through me and then
So,
would work
signature.
Just write your name here.
So, Alec, I've had situations where
it's not a big deal.
Give me a list of all his clients or something like that, but
I'll fill out the rest.
I think the big thing, Joe, is, when you download that phone, I don't know if emails come with it or not, because that's probably where all this attorney-client privilege stuff.
And we can actually isolate the emails.
Yeah, that's probably the thing. You don't text clients, but
No, I do. I text a lot of clients.
Okay.
I'm not a big emailer.
Is that an 11 or 12, or do you know?
I do not know.
Okay.
I can tell you that in the case story if you want me to. You look at the back, it should have a number.
And what was your date of birth again, Mr. Murdock?
2768.
10. And the last word of the social.
Don't get old.
7.
You got the line?
7483. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Doesn't say anything on it.
I wouldn't say losing, Denise. It's still early in the trial. A lot of evidence still has to be admitted.
And if you got a passcode or
My passcode is.
write it on there.
Start at the bottom 9, go up 9669.
9669.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me run this till. I'll be right back.
Great. Now he has to change his passcode because everybody knows it now.
Where are you from, sir?
I'm actually from Barnwell.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, sir.
That's the defendant who's doing that. This is a video from
I got some
the
cousins in Barnwell.
body camera footage the night of.
Mixing oil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my.
You kin to Dickie Mixon?
Yeah, this is going to be good, Lindsay.
Mixing oil with my Uncle Ray Mixon and his son Teddy and Bobby and a bunch of them. Then Freddie Mixon. He was
I knew Freddie Mixon very well.
Yeah, and his wife Etta and Jill.
Mr. Freddie goes to Elko Church.
Yeah, not anymore. He did.
I mean, he went.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, I was at his funeral. He had a tiger paw casket at the funeral. He's a big Clemson guy.
You know Big John Bedingfield, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
I know John.
That's my cousin.
Okay.
Who was he just talking about right there?
John Bedingfield, the DNR officer who is also the one that built the AR style rifles, 300 blackout for him.
And Sweet Caroline?
John's son and my son are the same age. They were in school together.
So, did you grow up in Vaughn?
Yes, sir.
This is the defendant's voice we're hearing is being questioned. They're downloading his phone.
He's taking care of that.
But I get it back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, sir. So when we spoke the other night, I got kind of a basic overview.
Yes, sir.
This is current day footage we're seeing right here.
Traumatic.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I know
so,
you need to ask me. You ask me what you need to.
So I want you to, let's start Monday morning and take me through your day.
Monday morning, you know, did I do Monday morning? My wife and my older son had gone to the baseball games that weekend. You know, I really can't remember what I did Monday. I know I went to work, but you know, I think I was dragging a little bit from the weekend, but I went to work. I usually mess around on my farm, and then I go to work. I was at work. You know.
Were you at the office in Hampton, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I was at my office in Hampton. You know, I mean, I was just at my office doing
legal work.
Yes, sir. I'm sure I can go back and probably recreate some specifics if you need me to, but I can't like sit here and recall on the top of my head exactly what I was working on. I know one thing I was working on was we had some big motions coming up in a Dominion Energy case. I was getting ready for those, and I was getting ready for some motions. I'm a defendant in a civil case involving my son. I told you about the boat wreck.
Yes, sir.
And there were some motions coming up in that on Thursday, and I was mostly just getting ready for those things. And then
Question as to what he was doing the day of the murders?
That is correct, yes, sir.
And he said he was working on some motions in the Dominion Energy case, and then also where he's personally a defendant in the boat case. Is that correct?
That is correct,
That's
yes,
what
sir.
he said he was doing the day of the murders. Is that right?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Thank you.
other junk.
What time did you leave the house to go to the office?
I'm not sure.
Who all was at the house when you left?
To go to my office that morning?
Or when you got up, who was at the house?
I'm sure my wife was. And I can't remember if Blanca had made it out there yet or not.
And who is Blanca?
Blanca is our housekeeper.
Okay, okay.
And she comes different. She doesn't have set hours, but she comes most days. She'll be able to tell you if I was there when she left or not.
Okay.
I can't remember.
And so you went to the office, you did, some motions. What time did you leave the office?
What was the name of the housekeeper?
Blanca.
Is she dead now?
Yeah, when she left or not.
Okay.
I can't remember.
And so you went to the office, you did, some motions. What time did you leave the office?
I left a little bit earlier than normal because my son Paul was coming home.
Okay.
Because he had not been with us during the weekend, and he was coming home. We were going to replant some sunflowers the next day.
Okay.
And so he was calibrating, doing and getting everything ready. So he got home a little early. I left a little early, so he and I could knock around, and we knocked around for, just doing things we like to do out there.
Okay.
We're riding around looking at food plots, looking for hogs, a little bit of target shooting, just bullshit.
Yeah. You said Paul wasn't with you over the weekend. Where does he live with you at the house on Moselle?
Well, I mean, that's his home, but he has an apartment in Columbia.
Okay.
And he goes to Charleston a lot of weekends with his buddies.
Okay.
And he
They're
had
just
been in
kicked back,
Charleston
taking it easy.
for the weekend.
Okay.
And then Paul works for my brother John. This out here, you met John.
Yes, sir.
So Paul works for him. So Paul decided to he went to spend the night with my brother, his Uncle John. They were very, very close.
Okay.
Sunday night.
Okay.
And then he worked for John Marvin, and he came home Monday afternoon.
Okay.
Just real quick, Alex Murdaugh told you that he left work a little earlier than normal, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's what he said.
And one of the things he told you is they were riding around looking for hogs, is that right?
Looking for hogs, yes, sir.
Do people often use 300 blackout to shoot hogs?
They do.
About roughly what time in the afternoon?
You know, I would think it'd be somewhere in the 5 o'clock range, a little bit. It was broad daylight when we were, it wasn't dusk, dark, or late.
Okay.
You know, and we rode, you know, we just rode around. We rode around our dove field looking at how the corn was doing. He and I had planted corn in the dove field, and he planted the corn in the duck pond, and he was, you know, showing me how much better his corn was doing than mine was. And
there's the motive right there.
I mean, we just, you know, we rode the property.
Yes, sir.
You know, we rode the property. Then, you know, I mean, we rode around so much. We just rode. Probably. It was a good little while. It was more than 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And, you know, was it 2 hours? I don't know. I'd say it was more than an hour, probably.
Really wasn't keeping track of time?
And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't getting dark. Mama wasn't home yet. She had gone to a doctor's appointment. So, you know.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, target practice, what y'all shooting?
Just a little bottle. You mean what gun?
Yeah.
A 22 Magnum.
Rat shot?
I think. No, it wasn't rat shot. I think he shot 2 times and I shot 1 time.
Okay.
He told you that they shot just a couple of times, the target shooting at a bottle, 22 Magnum, is that correct?
That is correct.
And is 22 Magnum, is that a very small round, or is that a much larger rifle round like 300 Blackout?
That is a small round.
22 is about as small as it comes.
They make them smaller, but it is small.
Okay.
So after y'all got finished riding around, try to take me through the rest of the evening.
All right. You know, at some point we were all back at the house together. Maggie had gotten home, and you know, we sat down, we ate supper, which we usually eat supper together. The one thing I remember, I don't know how much detail y'all want, so if I start talking about something that you don't need, just tell me and I'll move to something else.
The more detail, the better, sir.
So Paul has been having high blood pressure, and his mama was worried sick about it.
This is Alex's voice.
We were actually, you know, this was a direct thing, getting him, he doesn't like to go to doctors, making him go get his blood pressure checked. His feet had swollen up recently.
Wow.
So, you know, it was a big, huge deal.
Okay.
You know, we hung around the house for a little while. I know that Maggie went to the kennels. I don't know exactly where Paul went, but he left the house too.
Okay. How did Maggie get down to the kennels?
I don't know exactly, but on normal occasions she would drive a buggy, drive a four-wheeler, or very common for her to walk.
Okay. How about Paul?
Paul wasn't much of a walker, but he would use all of the others.
Okay.
But I mean, it could be anyway, you know? I don't know exactly. I wish I could help you with that.
So they left and went down to the kennels.
Well, Maggie went to go to the kennels.
Okay. Paul left.
And I'm assuming, you know, Paul left because of, you know, what happened. I mean, I'm assuming Paul went to the kennels.
Okay. And what did you do once Maggie and Paul left?
I stayed in the house.
What did he tell you he did after Maggie and Paul went to the kennels?
He stayed in the house.
I mean, I'm assuming Paul
Yeah.
went to the kennels.
Okay. And what did you do once Maggie and Paul left?
I stayed in the house.
Okay.
And I was watching TV, looking at my phone, and I actually fell asleep on the couch.
Okay. And what time did you?
You know, I don't know
wake up?
exactly what time I woke up, but when y'all get my phone, you know, I think one of the first things I did when I got up was call Maggie because I was going to my mom's. And I know I texted her because I checked my phone. And what time did we say the text was, Jim? Like 9:06?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I got it written down from the other night.
I showed you the other night, didn't I?
Yes, sir. I got this.
So, you know, I texted her, so I called her just before that. And, I mean, she didn't answer at that point. And I left to go to my mom's.
Okay.
Y'all will just have to look. I'm not sure if I called Paul or not.
and that's why we're getting the phone so we can nail down the times and everything.
So I left, drove. Well, you know, I'm gonna tell y'all this, even though I think it's kind of crazy. You know, I was certain that I heard them pull up. I mean, I was positive that I heard, and people don't just come out there. You know, we don't get like passed through. I was certain that I heard them pull up, but they didn't.
Okay.
The defendant told you that he thought he heard somebody pull up, but they didn't?
Yes, sir.
And that was before, according to him, he left the house. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Well, if you heard something pull up, what did it sound like?
You know, I can't tell you what it sounded like. I just know that I thought that my wife had pulled up, or that Paul had pulled up.
Would it have been the buggy that she normally drives, or would it be a car?
No, I had the impression that a car pulled up.
Okay.
You know, and
had you woken up by that time, but hadn't left for your mom's?
Yep.
Okay.
But it wasn't much time in between there because I left pretty damn close. It wasn't much time between me waking up and me leaving the house.
Okay.
And when I went outside, you know, there's a wild cat that lives around that house. Okay. I'm pretty sure it was the cat that ran.
Poll results are up.
But, you know, I never had the impression it was a person, but there was something.
Okay.
You know?
At this point, the defendant tells you something about a wildcat running. He wasn't sure if it was a person.
Yes, sir. That's what he says.
But I really don't think, you know, I'm just throwing that out there because it was in my mind.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
All right.
That's totally fine.
I left. I drove to my mom's. I checked on my mom.
She lives right out here, correct?
She lives at Alameda.
Okay.
Checked on my mom. Talked with Shelly for a few minutes. You know.
Shelly is?
The caregiver.
Okay.
And, you know, I know that I called some people on the way there. I know I returned a call from my brother John. I know that I called Chris Wilson. I know that I talked to Buster. So I made a few phone calls.
Okay.
And
where was Buster?
Buster was in Rock Hill.
Okay. Is that where he lives, or?
No, he lives in Columbia, but he just started a new job. He's going back to law school in January.
Okay.
So he's working a little part-time job with Wild Wings.
Okay.
Through January.
Gotcha.
You know, just kind of killing time. And he was in, his girlfriend lives in Rock Hill. She's studying for the bar exam, so he had to be in Charlotte, so he was staying with her in Rock Hill, her and her mom.
Okay.
Can I open the store?
Yes, sir.
Little spit right there.
So,
all right, so where are we? All right, so then I
left your mom's and making phone calls.
I left my mom's and I went back home. I got to the house. I went inside. Nobody was there. I got in the car. I went back to the kennels and, you know.
And when you went back to the kennels, besides Maggie and Paul, did you see anybody, any cars?
I didn't see anything right then, no, sir.
Take your time.
You know, I saw Maggie and I saw Paul laying down. I knew, you know, I didn't know.
This interview is 3 days later, I believe.
I knew it was bad. I went over there and, you know, I saw it.
Yeah.
And, you know.
We'll see you,
I
Miss
called
Willover.
911.
Willover, thanks for being here.
And what made you decide to go back to the house and get a gun?
Yeah, I just think the whole scene had me freaked out.
Okay. Did you take your car back up there, or did you run up there?
No, I drove.
Okay, so we drove back up.
How did Alex Murdaugh say he went back to the house after finding Maggie and Paul to supposedly go get a gun?
He drove.
This might disagree with his cell phone data.
They were asking me earlier. I'm not sure which one it was.
Jim, it was a 12 gauge. I know, yeah, Ronnie had the question if it was 12 or 20. It was a 12 gauge.
And it was that camo, though, right?
Yes, sir. I think it was the 12 camo Benelli.
Benelli. I think so. But that's about all you got, Benelli, out there, right?
And we talked about this a little bit the other night too. I know Paul had been getting some threats and getting some being assaulted from, you know, the boat. Who stands out in your mind, besides the boat incident? Who stands out in your mind that would want to come after Paul and or Maggie?
I mean, sir, I can't think of anybody who would want to go to that extreme, you know? I mean, he got a bunch of threats, mostly from, you know, I mean, I have no idea.
How would he receive most of those threats?
What do you mean?
I mean, would people call and hang up on him, or send him text, or
it wasn't
social
so much
media?
That no, it was mostly like in-person confrontations, are the ones that I learned about. Now, I suspect his friends can probably tell you about more, because I doubt Paul told me about all of them.
Okay.
But I knew about a lot of them. You know, there were a lot of times where people would come up to him and he'd be like, they'd say something about, you know, you gonna tell me who was driving that boat, or you little piece of shit, were you driving that boat? You know, stuff like that.
Okay. Who did he go to Charleston with on the boat that weekend?
I don't know exactly. I know that, I mean, I know who his buddies are, but specifically who was on the boat with him, I'm not sure.
Okay.
You know, but I can give you a list of names of who it probably was.
So, Joe, I don't know if you want me to weigh in here. You may want to put your pens down, but a good buddy of mine's son went fishing with me yesterday out in the ocean, and he has a best friend, and his dad's name is Lee Chapman, but
yeah,
the kid said, Lee's son said, that Paul slept on his couch in Charleston 2 nights before he was murdered. So it's Lee Chapman's son. I can get his name. You probably know Lee's son. I don't, but he goes to the Citadel. But that's where Paul was.
Okay.
And I learned that yesterday out on the fishing trip, which is by happenstance.
Cool. I mean, yes, sir. If you could get me Lee Chapman's son's contact information.
There was a bunch of Chapman cousins that Paul was very close with. The closest one being
I'm just going to turn my camera off for a minute.
And Frank Chapman.
You guys
Will's Chapman's his name.
call me on the burner phone.
Frank is John Chapman's son, and Will's is Lee Chapman's son.
Okay.
That's where you want.
And those boys are, you know, they're just really good boys and friends of Paul's.
And one of them is Will's with an S, right?
That's right.
And Wills goes to the Citadel. That's you understand?
No, he's graduated from the Citadel.
Graduated from the
Okay. And Frank was in the Citadel, but I think he had some kind of, you know, academic troubles. But I mean, I'm telling you now, I can promise you that, I mean, those boys love Paul.
Well,
it's absolutely.
Well, you know, and I
None
just
of
want
them.
to talk to them about their weekend and
Sure.
yeah.
I can tell you this, in riding around with Paul, he was his normal bright, you know, just, he was a really great kid.
So, being a dad myself, what was the biggest issue you had with Paul? When you had to call him down and scold him or correct him, what was the biggest issue you had with Paul?
You guys busted me catching like 10 seconds of shut-eye.
Irresponsibility, you know. He was ADHD. He was bad about jumping from, and he had so many wonderful qualities now, but he was bad about jumping from, he'd start this, maybe not quite finish it, do something else. And, you know, you'll find out from his friends he had clothes strung out all over the state. He did that with clothes, he did that with guns, he did that with my boats. So.
He lost what?
He would misplace stuff or just, you know, leave stuff behind, right?
Yes, everywhere, everywhere. I mean, he would go off for the weekend. Sometimes he wouldn't pack clothes because he's got clothes in somebody's house. I mean, Paul was one, he wouldn't understand how you go out, you know, you and a girl go out on a date. He liked the crowd.
Who was his girlfriend?
He didn't have a girlfriend right now.
Okay.
Alex, last time I talked to him was like 2 weeks ago, although we texted. He was going to Greenville for the weekend. I mean, he had friends up there, girlfriend up there?
No, we had a family thing in Greenville, and he came up, Paul didn't play golf. He came up on Friday and stayed Saturday, and then he left to go to Charleston, and we stayed another day to play golf. My niece on my wife's side is having a baby, and we went up for that.
And you said on Monday Maggie had a doctor's appointment in Charleston. And I know we talked about
We haven't
this
heard
on
that
Monday.
part yet,
Did you
Charlie.
call the doctor that she went to, or for what the reason was?
Maggie had a couple little things going on, and I personally think she was going to see Dr. Gordine, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's who it was.
He breaks down every time they talk about Paul.
Though. Her mom will know.
Okay. And you said she and Buster were at the ball games all weekend?
Yes.
Was that
with me?
With you? And what ball games?
Carolina Regional.
They didn't make it past those, did they?
No.
Okay. Did Paul? Well, no, Paul was in Charleston, so he didn't hang out.
I'm already out.
No, sir.
And what time did Maggie get back home Monday night?
It was after Paul and I had gone. She was not there when Paul and I left to go mess around.
Okay.
So, you know, it was sometime after that. So there was a point when, you know, she got back, we got back.
When y'all got back from riding around and messing around on the farm, was she home or?
Yes.
Okay.
Told you that Maggie was home when they got back from riding around the property. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
We need some heated objections really to liven things
And
up
I
a
don't
bit.
believe she'd been home too long when.
And what's her car? That Mercedes that's out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you said Bianca had prepared dinner that night.
Yeah, Blanca cooked dinner that night because Maggie cooks, you know, when the boys are home, or she tries to really for me, but she wasn't going to be there that day, so she had Blanca cook a meal.
How is your relationship with Maggie?
Very good. As good as it could possibly be. I mean, you know, we had our issues, but wonderful.
And I'm just trying to understand the family dynamic.
I understand you got to do what you got to do, I promise.
What was y'all's biggest arguments? What your biggest the things that y'all would argue about the most, what would they be over?
I mean, we really didn't argue, but I'd say the only thing that caused any friction between us is she was always wanting us to go, and I love her in-laws. I mean, they're wonderful people. I love them to death. She was always wanting to go there, stay there a little longer than me and the boys wanted to stay. That was really, and it really, you know, she'd get ticked off.
Yeah.
You mean her family? You said her in-laws. You mean her family?
I mean her family.
I love the in-laws, but that butt was huge.
I mean, we really didn't argue about much. We didn't have much to argue about.
Maybe her Gucci purchases.
I mean, I'm sure there was an occasional thing that came up that we argued about, but I can't tell you what it is. I can't think of it.
Bite me. We're not going to see any of the evidence live as it's presented in court. Most of it will come out as it's released by the court to the media. It's a precaution because of the seal that judges put everything on. Put most things under.
Take your time. Good. Tissue.
I'm sorry.
You good.
I mean, she was a wonderful girl and a wonderful wife. And she was a great mother. She, you know, she didn't work. And she always said it was her job since she was privileged enough not to work. She was going to make sure she took care of me and the boys. And I mean, she did everything. She did absolutely everything. I'm sorry.
No, you have every right to do that.
I'm good. You go ahead.
That afternoon, or during the time you and Paul were right.
Yes, sir.
Did y'all go up to around the kennels or anything? Did y'all do anything up toward the kennels?
I'm sure we did. You know, that's our main shop is, you know, right there. But, you know, I mean, we're normally in there for long times tinkering, and I will say that particular day, we did not tinker around there a bunch, you know?
When y'all rode around the farm, what were y'all in the truck or?
Well, we were actually in two trucks. We rode in one truck, and then we rode in another truck some. One was the black one, and one was the white one that was out there.
Okay.
Mr. Alec.
Yes, sir.
You know, the other day when we were there, we came in and we were talking with John a little bit.
Sure.
And y'all obviously got a lot of, I say a lot, you said 20 or 25 weapons.
Yes, sir.
And do you know kind of what you got as far as any kind of, what kind of weapons you may have?
I'm pretty much, yes, sir.
I know you might not remember them all, but can you kind of run down what you, for us, kind of what you had, what you got, you know, right there?
That I own or that's in there now?
That you own.
All right. That I own.
That's in there, you know, or wherever they're at.
And,
Okay,
you know,
start taking
I mean,
notes.
Paul has guns scattered all over the place. So, you know, some of our guns aren't there. But, so you want to know all of them or you want to know what I think is in my house? or what was in my house on Monday.
Yeah, what was in your house? Let's start with what was in your house on Monday.
Okay, whatever was in my house on Monday is exactly what was there minus one shotgun that y'all got.
Okay.
No guns have been moved for, there hadn't been any guns moved in and out of there other than when Paul was home. When Paul came home, he would ride around and shoot hogs a lot.
What would he shoot hogs with?
Primarily he would shoot them with Buster's gun. Because Paul had a 300 blackout.
Okay.
And it got, he says it got stolen. And it's been gone for some time.
What did he say Paul liked to do?
To this repeating what the tape says. The jury can hear the tape. And just
Sustained.
Stopping and repeating exactly what Mr. Murdock says on the tape.
This witness was actually present, and while there is a recording, he's also fair to relate to the jury what he heard being present for that very conversation.
I overruled the objection.
Thank you.
I was going to sustain it just for brevity.
Let me ask the question again. What did Mr. Murdock tell you that Paul liked to do?
Ride around and shoot hogs.
And what did Mr. Murdock tell you that the weapon was he used to do that?
He used his brother's 300 blackout.
So he would use his brother's blackout a lot of times.
So Buster also had a 300?
I gave them both one.
Okay. When was that?
About years ago.
Okay. More than a year ago,
more than a year ago.
Okay.
All right, but he would do anything. Paul had this, like a little light that I used that night. Paul would take that thing up to, my 308, and he was always rigging something. So sometimes shotguns when he would go try to kill the hogs, because the piglets would be grouped up, but normally he would have a rifle when he went to shoot the pigs. So, all right, so going back to the guns, y'all want me to tell y'all what was in there? Don't y'all, have an inventory?
I videoed that the thing. I didn't write down everything that you had. I just took a random, just like a recording of what was on the gun rack or on the gun wall in the gun room that day.
And there are some more guns that aren't in that gun room. I don't know how many, but like I do know there's a shotgun in my bedroom.
And I think Miss Agent Katie, walked with John and saw that one.
Okay. And I imagine there's probably some in some other rooms. I know that, I think it was we have two gun cases, one small one and one big one, and I moved some guns from the little case to the big case just because, her mom and dad were in there, and I just took all the guns to the back room. But that's after the fact.
This time, could I request a brief break?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break for about 10 minutes.
I'm not a camel.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. We're in break right now. I popped a little vitamin C lozenge, I guess. So the sugar gave me just enough energy to not fall asleep. My goodness. He's crying again. He cries a lot about his son, Paul. Not so much about his wife. That last time was about his wife, the one that was, some people said sounded like a windshield wiper, some people say it sounded like a hyena. I believe it was authentic emotion. People cry differently, but I think that was actual authentic emotion, not faking it. Lisbeth, good to have you here. First time I've seen your name in chat. Hopefully you feel welcome. Are we sure Buster was out of town? I think what we've heard is he was one of the first people to be cleared. So it sounds like he probably had a pretty solid alibi. So I think he's probably out of the picture for most of this. Extra sound effect not working. Let's see. Some of them are, some of them aren't. I can trigger some of them.
I'm not a cat.
But we usually keep most of the sound effects off during the testimony, during trial. So I need to find the squirrel one. I don't know where it is.
Squirrel!
There it is. Found it. Squirrel is dead. So wife was a hired hit. Paul was collateral damage. I don't know. I think for me, I'm really reserving judgment until I hear I hear what's going on with the cell phone data, specifically with his testimony about where he was and where he went. Like, does his phone go from the kennels back up to the house while he was on 911, where we know that he was on the phone. The phone was turned on. He had it in his possession. Does it track back to the house and back, or does he just stay right there in the same area? So I think some of that's going to be important, just to go to his truthfulness. When are we going to get Bite Me a sound effect? Which one was it you wanted again? I thought you gave me a sound effect, but it wasn't really clean. Like it had other audio in the background from a movie or something. I tried to get one. Ivan, I think it's either your theory or the other way around, that Paul was the target and the wife got in the way and had to go to. I'm so puzzled by his last statement before the break. He said he moved all the guns to the back room because his in-laws were in there. When was this? Yeah, this is the first I heard that the in-laws are staying over there. Apparently, he didn't like the in-laws, didn't like going to the in-laws' house, and when they came to his house, he didn't like them having his guns. So he needed money, and his wife had $3 million or so. He was a beneficiary. The state's going to be presenting evidence about that financial motive here before they're done. They've brought that up in pretrial hearings, so I know that's going to happen. So his son, spouse, and housekeeper are all dead. Yes. Yeah, we're just scratching the surface on the witnesses. I think they've got 220 potential witnesses in this trial between both prosecution and defense. Was that she was leaving him? I didn't hear anything about that. Thal says it was a mob hit because one of the victims of his white-collar crime is somebody he shouldn't have crossed. Most of it was from his work, wasn't it? And his clients. I guess it could have been one of the clients. Who gets the money if Alex goes to jail? I think there's not as much money there as you think. Granted, I believe there is some, but once the rest of the cases get determined, settled, I don't think there will be much to pass on. Yeah, 255 on the witness list. Okay, that's even more than I thought. I thought it was 220 for some reason. That's a lot of people. Just and we're what? We're 10 into it, roughly. Trying to think. 1, 2, 3. I think we're still under 10. Most of the money is stolen or has a lien on it. Yeah, so it'll disappear really fast once everything gets settled out. It's going to be a long trial. Somebody's talking about the shooting hogs. That was a regular pastime. They're using this their land as a hunting preserve, and hogs are a nuisance. They cause problems in the fields, the plots, the feed plots they raise for deer, that they raise for doves, for ducks, for everything they're raising. The hogs just destroy it. So it's a constant battle trying to keep the hog population in check. Some people do eat wild hog, some people don't, and as far as public opinion, both are sort of acceptable. Whether to just bury him or skin him out and eat him. Poor Buster won't see a dime. I thought he already got a couple millions. Are we going to cover the eye drop trial? Kuczewski? I think they're going to overlap a little bit, so we'll probably have to do an evening wrap up of that trial. I'd love to see Judge Doro in action again, though. What's the start date for that one, Jenny? Is that that's February, right? So we've got a week or two. You guys are funny. Wild hogs are bad. They are. They're really bad, and they're dangerous. They're aggressive a lot of times, especially if they're cornered or threatened. They've got tusks that can tear you up. See, I've heard wild boar tastes good. I had to dress more deer in my childhood than I care to think about. Roxanne, it sounds like you weren't the one who was shooting. You just had the duty to do the cleaning. So Maggie did want a divorce. There's motive there as well, because that would possibly expose some of the financial situation they were in as that worked its way through the system. How long until break is over? I didn't hear the time frame. I'm watching here. We've got the audio on right now, so you'll hear it as soon as the mic comes on. Wild boar, wild turkey. Ivan, he decided not to take the stand. The defense has rested, and I believe right now they are prosecution is offering rebuttal witnesses, or a rebuttal witness or witnesses. So they're almost done. We'll probably have, if they're done today, they might get jury instructions. Maybe that'll be tomorrow. Not sure. If I don't cover the Alec Baldwin trial, you're going to. That'll be awesome. Maybe that'll have to be yours. I think it'll be great. There's a bunch out there. That one. The only problem with Alec Baldwin is for some reason that trial is extremely political. And I'm a big Pickles Not Politics fan. I do think that trial is very interesting. It's going to be answering some important questions. I personally have some strong feelings about it. Having watched, I believe there's some demo reel footage of the scene that he was doing. He was practicing when the gun went off, and heard his testimony saying his finger wasn't on the trigger, but in all the practice ones it was. Things like that. I have some troubles with what I've heard him say. I have my own opinions about gun safety and things like that, and the importance of whoever is holding the firearm to ensure the gun is safe. So, for me, that would be harder to see him as, in a neutral light at the start of the trial. But if you cover it, can I come on as a guest and completely make a mess of your show. Let's see. Okay, so if they're getting divorced, that's huge. Because you've got the son who's, I mean, they're trying to be frugal in a lot of ways, like privately. Publicly, they have this persona that they're wealthy and, you know, doing well. But privately, I think they were trying to be a little bit frugal. And then if the wife's going and buying Gucci handbags and stuff right before the divorce. Yeah, interesting. Saw a wild hog coming back up the road today. Man. Most states, Mac, I'm not sure what state you're in, but most states allow you to pretty much take wild hogs any time of the year. No limit, any weapon. As long as it's legal to shoot, you could shoot wild hogs. But check your state first. Never had game meat. I like venison. I really enjoyed that. But growing up, we'd have people that would, we've got some families that did a lot of hunting, and they would have more meat than they could use, and so they'd give away a lot of the venison, and so we'd get some of that. I've been to deer hunting, but never shot one. What was that? Pheasant? Who was asking about the pheasant? I'll send you a case of dill pickles just so you learn your lesson as punishment. No. A case of spicy maple bourbon. Spicy maple bourbon pickles. That's what we could do. Yeah, dressing a deer is a bit of a misnomer. You're removing the cape, not putting it on. What is the name of that trial? Or which one are you talking about, Linda? Are you talking about the Alec Baldwin trial, the Rust shooting? That was the shooting that took place on the film set for Rust. Alec Baldwin was the actor holding the gun that went off that was not supposed to be loaded with actual ammunition, and it was.
Please be seated. Bring the jury, please.
Bring the jury. Yeah, Red Pen, if you hear something that's really good, let me know. I can go back and grab just a clean audio version without me talking or anything over it. And it'd be good.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. For the record, we're resuming with the publishing of State's Exhibit 243, and we're picking up at 36 minutes and 15 seconds in the video. I'm actually going to back it up.
No, don't do that.
10 seconds, just
okay.
Since we took a break.
Her mom and dad were in there, and I just took all the guns to the back room. But that's after the fact.
Would those guns have been in the room, in the gun room when we came up there with John?
I can't remember exactly when y'all came, but probably. I think y'all came a little bit, because it was a good while before y'all came.
Let me ask you one thing right here. You had earlier shown some body cam footage of your search of the gun room, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Ultimately, that day on June 8th, 2021, did agents also go to other areas of the residence to look for any other firearms that fit the description or fit the caliber of the two weapons from the murder scene?
Yes, sir, they did.
And by two weapons, I should say two calibers from the murder scene.
Yes, sir.
And that would be 300 blackout and 12 gauge.
That is correct.
All right. So ultimately, these weapons that were seized, those are the only ones recovered matching those two calibers.
That is correct.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was probably 2 o'clock or so that afternoon before we got there.
Now, did y'all keep any guns out at the kennels?
We didn't keep guns out there, but there were always guns out there.
Okay.
You know?
We didn't keep guns out there, but there were always guns out
I mean,
there.
and I'm going to be honest with you, we were all a little bit bad about it, but Paul was the worst. You know, he was the worst.
He would leave a gun out there?
He would leave anything anywhere. And, you know, it was not unusual for there to be
Sorry, why are we not looking at him? Sorry. I'm watching the video. Why are you looking at me?
out there.
Thank you.
Did y'all take the
But, like, I can tell you that...
I'm sorry.
I mean, they told
I'm
me
sorry.
that 300
I'm watching
blackout
it.
was used in this. That 300 blackout, you know, it was not out there.
So y'all didn't use that for target practice, or he didn't have it out there with him on Monday?
No.
Okay, no, that's right, because it was in the house.
What did the defendant tell you about whether or not there
I've got
was
one
300
job
blackout
on this
present
ship.
at the kennels on the night of the murders?
He said it was not out there.
Okay, it's,
So Paul said that one
it's back up now. You can see it now.
was stolen or lost, and it was some time ago. Was that reported anywhere?
It wasn't officially reported because I wasn't totally convinced it was stolen.
Okay.
You know, as opposed to lost. But, I mean, you know.
Thanks, Lindsay. I try not to show it during court,
People
though.
told about it.
Yeah.
I know that I told John Bedingfield about it. I know that I told some other local officers about it, you know, just in case it turned up in a drug thing.
Okay.
But I didn't do an official report.
Okay.
The two that you bought for the boys, that each one of them had one, and the one Paul lost, is that the only ones that you have?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I thought that Paul
We have a
got
sleepy
another
senator
one
on our
replaced,
hands.
But Buster said we didn't. But I was certain that we did.
His head's going down incrementally.
But I mean, my memory is it's been gone for a substantial while too.
That long pause. What did Alex Murdaugh, the defendant over there, tell you about the third blackout?
To his memory, it had been gone for a substantial amount of time, too.
Do you remember anything about them as far as were they the same colors?
They were identical except for colors.
Okay. Which one was Buster's?
Buster's the one we still have. Paul's the one that lost his.
Okay.
What were the two colors?
Black and tan. Buster's is black, Paul's was tan.
Okay. And you say you thought you replaced it after he lost it, or another one, but Buster says you didn't?
I believe that we did.
Okay.
I mean, there'll be a record of that, won't it?
Should be, yes,
sir. Andy, we're listening to the audio from an interview, I believe, 3 days after the murders.
But, you know, I know we replaced it because I wouldn't replace it again. Maybe I just think that now, I don't know. But I'm certain we replaced it.
Have you talked to CB Rowe since Monday or Tuesday?
Yes, sir.
Because I know we talked about what he had done on the farm. Is he still employed?
He's still employed because I got to have somebody keeping it clean, but I can't keep him. I mean, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
The witness was there for this interrogation, so he's laid the groundwork for this interrogation to be.
I don't know why that story
questioning to
seemed
be
important
admitted
to me
as
the other
evidence.
night.
Yeah.
I really can't see CB Rowe doing. I just can't. I really do not believe that.
Well,
sir.
I mean, it's an odd story.
It's a messed up story.
And and I'm just being in law enforcement for so long, and working these type cases, and I don't know the Arlington area, but talking to Colleton County and seeing the property and how isolated it is, finding somebody that's just going to randomly come up there that late at night that doesn't know the property, that's, so of course I have to look within and then start working my way out.
So you feel like it's not random. You feel like it's intentional. I mean, planned.
I don't know what to feel right now. And I hate to say that. I don't know what to feel right now.
So do y'all have any good clues?
All of the evidence that we collected Tuesday morning, and we collected additional evidence on Tuesday afternoon. They collected evidence at autopsy today. So we're trying to put a rush on that to get an answer quick, and hoping that's going to tell us something. By
evidence, I mean, is it things you think are going to be helpful?
Well, I mean, the shot shells out there, the casings, the DNA swabs that we took from the door handle to see if anybody touched the door handles, any other places that we think somebody may have touched while they were out there. We're trying to collect DNA from that and analyze that. Which at the conclusion of this, what I'm going to also ask is that we get a buccal swab, a DNA swab from you.
No problem.
Your DNA is going to be there, but we need to eliminate it once it's developed.
We don't need that unknown when it actually is a family member.
There's no problem.
I mean, we have talked to close to 100 people trying to track people down, and we're still tracking people down. And that's why, who Paul was with.
I want to tell you one thing while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Paul was really an incredibly intuitive little dude.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he was like a little detective. And, I mean, Paul would, what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Which leads me to, let's go back to Paul right quick while we're on him. So we have his phone. Do you know his passcode?
I don't. And I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a few people I can point you to.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that he was super, super, super secretive with that, cell phone. I asked his brother if he knew it. Did the ones that they got the other day didn't work?
Did y'all get any the other day?
Not for Paul's phone. No.
Okay. I know they got Maggie's code.
I know Maggie's.
Yeah.
And it works, or it worked.
Yeah.
I've not gotten it, but there's a lot of people out moving parts that may have gotten that information. So we'll follow up on it. If you believe somebody gave us a code for Paul's, a possible code for Paul's.
Maybe it was Maggie's. I don't know.
Okay.
But I'll find out. I will try to find out Paul's code.
Okay.
Who are you going to ask if you don't know it?
But it will surprise me greatly if somebody knows it.
I mean, certainly, talking about the investigation, certainly we're looking at every angle, trying to figure out what fits. And we're talking to, people that were involved in the boat case. We're trying to track down people that Paul knew and were friends with. That's why I asked who he was in Charleston with, so we can go try and see if they might know something or try to figure something out. We're trying to get into his phone to see if there's any information, see if he got like a direct threat from somebody there. I mean, the people that are here are not the only ones working on this. We've got people out doing things right now.
Thank you.
I mean, we're trying to pull everything in. Just the area, Arlington, unfortunately, there's not a lot of people moving around. I mean, I've got somebody looking at videos right now back at the office, combing through hours of videos that we've gone out and collected.
Well, thank y'all.
Yeah.
Very much.
So.
Mr. Alex.
You don't have to call me Miss. You just call me Alex. Thank you for that courtesy.
When you and Paul got back to the house, Miss Maggie's there, and y'all eat supper, which has been prepared, and you said you laid down and took a little nap, and when you got up, Maggie and Paul was gone, or did they leave when you laid down? Or before you laid down?
I believe that. I'm not sure.
But they weren't there when you woke up around the 9 o'clock mark or so when you made the call to Maggie to let her know you was going to your
No, nobody was in that house when I left.
So, and just trying to narrow down the last time that you saw Paul and Maggie's when y'all were eating supper.
Yes, sir.
Asked the defendant, when was the last time he saw Maggie and Paul? What did he tell you?
When he was eating supper.
Until you came back from your mom's and found what you found.
You got Alex probably told you all this. He did check for a pulse. Yes.
Right, and that's why we want to do the DNA. Right. Right.
I don't know.
Yes.
When you tried to turn Paul over, do you know if you tried to turn him like towards the kennels or away from the kennels and his phone fell out?
Away. I think I turned him away.
Okay. Was he left-handed or right-handed?
He was right-handed.
Where did he normally keep his phone?
Usually in his hand. But
The defendant was asked during this interview where Paul normally kept his phone. What did he say?
Usually in his hand.
It was, it was always on him. Pocket, hand, truck.
Where did Maggie carry her phone? Anywhere she could?
Yes, sir. Did y'all get fingerprints on her phone?
I haven't gotten that back yet.
When Paul's phone came out, did you just pick it up and put it on, place it back down on him, or?
Yeah, I did not try to open it or anything. I don't know how I had in my mind that I needed to not mess anything up. I I had that, you know, somehow I had that presence of mind that I needed to not mess anything up. And so I tried not to.
And you definitely saw a traumatic picture, and I know it's not hard, or not easy. I know it's hard. And sitting here talking today is tough.
It's just so bad. They did it so bad.
When you asked the defendant about the traumatic picture that he saw of Paul and Maggie, what did he say?
It's just so bad. I did him so bad.
I did him so bad.
Yes, sir.
I heard they, not I.
He's such a good boy, too. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But you know, the little things that we've got.
I understand.
Is necessary so that we can get a little better picture as to you know, to what may have happened.
Well, I just thank y'all for everything, you know.
That'll definitely be in the cross, for
my
sure.
parents, my in-laws, I would like somebody to update me or my brother or somebody so that I can tell them as y'all discover things. Unless there's some reason y'all don't do that.
Well,
I mean, they just have so many questions.
I understand, and
I mean, they may even, well, no, they don't.
well, I mean, how I know Maggie's mother just had a knee replacement. How was their health overall, other than that?
You know, they're ailing a little bit. They're getting on up there. Daddy has some neuropathy, but I mean, they're in good physical health. They're in good, you know, their fortitude is good. They're just, you know, they're just getting age on them, you know?
Yes, sir. Are they in Somerville or are they at the house on Moselle?
No, they didn't. They lived in Somerville.
Okay.
But they're here now.
Oh, they're here in this house?
No, they're in Moselle.
Okay. Because, I mean, I'll go by and speak with them and meet with them. If you think that would help.
I think that would help a tremendous amount if you would just be willing just to sit down and let them, I mean, you know, hearing from me and John Marvin and Danny and whoever, what little tidbits y'all get, I just, you know what, I think it would give them peace of mind to know that y'all got a team of people out there on it.
Yes, sir.
And you know, just to really have something, you know, a tangible person instead of being told.
You got a contact number for them?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to get that.
Okay.
Her mom and dad are just such good people. I mean, they're just wonderful people.
Courtroom feed just jumped.
I love her so much, and
everybody we can deal with.
It really would make them feel good.
What are their names?
A lot of technical.
My father-in-law's name is Terry.
But yes,
my mother-in-law's name is Kennedy, and they're Brandstetters. And my sister-in-law, who in her
spell Brandstetter for me.
Branstetter, and then my sister-in-law, who was closest to Maggie in the whole world, is Marion Proctor. And her husband is Bart Proctor. And they live in Charleston.
Do you have a contact number for any?
I know their numbers.
Okay.
843.
Your Honor, at this time, I'm going to mute the video with consent of the defense, just so that that number is not broadcast.
Yes, Your Honor, we agree.
Because they're still using that number.
Promise you, Alex, someone that my life depended on it, I couldn't tell anybody, my mother-in-law or father-in-law.
I'm telling you, man, I've been the luckiest person in the world with in-laws. I mean, they are wonderful.
Yeah,
Just don't trust them with guns, and they don't like being at their
It's my
house.
in-laws that I like. It's my wife's in-laws I don't.
There you go.
Let me grab a piece of paper. I'll be right back.
Here's Will's Chapman's number. Okay.
Mute it because another contact number is given, I believe, with consent of the defense.
Yes, Your Honor.
I thought I heard they, but I think we're split on that.
You want me to dig them up?
And David, I'm gonna forward you this contract. Maybe you don't want me to do it like that, but
Okay.
someone sent me Will's Chapman's.
Hold on to that, please.
Gave us. Contact information. Yeah, I think it's just the phone number. Yeah, all I got was the phone number.
All right. So we have victim's advocate, Miss Marion Walker.
I can do that,
That's her
Marie.
cell number.
Thank you.
There's some information for you on the back. In the Victims Advocate Program, they help with different things. I think more specifically, what would be more beneficial, especially for you and Buster, is some counseling down the road, grief counseling.
You know, I do some assistant solicitor's work,
Yeah.
so, you know.
Yeah, you're familiar with it.
Familiar with the thing, but thank you so
Yes, sir.
much.
There was a discussion about victim's advocate. What did Mr. Murdock tell you about his career?
That he did some assistant solicitors work, and he was familiar with the program.
And again, what is an assistant solicitor?
He's a prosecutor which prosecutes criminal offenses.
Okay, criminal prosecutor?
Yes, sir.
I know y'all planned out the funeral today. When is the funeral?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Y'all have
Well,
visit?
we're doing a service tomorrow. Maggie and Paul aren't going to be ready until next week. So we're doing a service tomorrow, and then we're going to have a private family thing one day next week.
Okay. Are y'all doing anything tonight? Because I can run by and talk to Terry and Kennedy tonight.
I think the
instead of-
sooner you can come
Yeah.
and talk to them, the peace of mind that would really help them.
Okay.
That's convenient for you. So we're out at the house tonight, but And if for some reason they go back early because of the service tomorrow, that they may be staying tonight, they may not be, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All of their cousins and family on the Branstetter side and the Hubbard side is coming in from Kentucky. And so they may be going back to stay with them.
Okay.
I'll find out and call you. Do I have, I think you called me.
Yes, sir.
On this date of this interview on June 10th, 2021, to your knowledge, had there been another death in the family?
At this point, it had not.
Okay. Was there one not long after this?
Yes, it was.
And who died?
Mr. Alex's father,
And what was his name?
Randolph.
Jim's got my number.
Okay.
I gave him my phone.
I'll find out and
Okay.
call you in just a minute.
Okay. You good? All right. Do you have any other questions that I might be able to answer right now that we hadn't gone over?
No, sir.
As soon as I get something, and if it's okay with you, John Marvin asked me to go through him.
That's fine.
So I'm not bothering you in case you're doing something. What time is the service tomorrow?
12 o'clock.
Okay.
This
Where
is
that
3
gonna be?
days after the
Hampton.
murder.
What, at the church or?
It's graveside.
Okay. So if I get something around that time, I won't bother you. I'll wait 1:30 and.
If you get anything important, you can call me anytime.
Okay.
Anytime.
Okay. Are y'all going to publicize the service, or is it just going to be for family and friends?
No, sir. It's going to be, it's going to be open, but I got TC and those making sure I don't want any press anywhere near.
Yeah.
So,
No, they don't deserve to be near.
they're going to make sure, in the town of Hampton that, there's no press.
Okay. All right. Well, y'all got my numbers.
I think you said with that phone, it'll take a while.
I'm gonna go check on it. Y'all go back in the house. When it's done, I'll bring it to you.
Let me do the.
Oh, the buckle, yes. Let's do the buckle swab right quick.
All right, you can sit where you at, Alex, and I'm gonna step out, but I got glove up and.
Oh, what?
The buckle.
There was a question asked about, do you think he's through with that phone? What were they talking about?
Mr. Alex's phone, which he had given to us to do a download on.
And who was doing that download again?
Dylan Hightower.
And that was occurring while this interview was going on?
Yes, sir.
Now you're discussing the buccal swab, is that correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
The buckle swab, yeah.
Oh, do I need to spit out my tobacco?
It might be better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Might be best.
And I'll get everything together.
I'm doing the consent now.
That's fine, I'm gonna go ahead and, where's your gloves at?
You didn't grab gloves?
I did not, but I know one of these vehicles has got gloves. I'm not in mine.
For the record, at this point in the video, we're at 1 hour and 2 minutes. What happens next? What, if anything, are you about to do?
I'm fixing the glove up. I'm going to secure the cotton swabs, the sterile cotton swabs, and getting ready to do the buccal swab.
And who do you do the buccal swab of?
On Alex Murdaugh.
And the person you've been describing as Alex, the person you interviewed, do you see him in the courtroom here today?
Yes, sir, I do.
Can you identify him for the jury,
He's
please?
sitting at the defense table with the, looks like navy blue blazer on.
Can the record reflect he's identified the defendant? Thank you. I'm going to show you real quick what's been marked as State's Exhibit 157 and see if you recognize that.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, and can you tell the jury what that is?
That is the buccal swab which I collected from Mr. Alex Murdaugh.
This time I would offer states in 157 into evidence, I believe, without objection.
We all get bingo if that happens, Jennifer, if the pen explodes in the lawyer's mouth. I think we also
correct?
get bingo
Yes, Your
if his other lawyer
Admitted
falls
without
asleep.
objection.
This is the buccal swab you took that day that's on the video?
Yes, sir, it is.
After that, where did that buccal swab go?
It was turned over to crime scene and went to the lab for testing.
And is it general practice with any sort of evidence like this to secure it from any tampering while it's turned over to crime scene?
Yes, sir, it is.
And the writing on the back of this evidence slip, whose writing is that?
That would be David Owen, and he collected by Jeff Croft.
All right, thank you.
So many ways to win, CG. Seriously. It would be even better if it took a while for him to notice and he was like covered in it.
Marked as states 218, states 219, states 220. And just generally see if you recognize those particular documents.
Yes, sir, I do.
And generally, what are those?
Property receipts for items that was seized during the searches at the residence.
That you previously described to this jury?
Yes, sir.
Firearms evidence and the like?
That is correct.
Your Honor, this time the state would move 218, 219, and 220 into evidence, I believe without objection.
Submit it there.
There she is, far left. She's the one that's had some pretty expressive looks on her face, especially in the pretrial hearings. Wonder if we'll hear from her during the defense. He's going to object to chain of custody. Identified for.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 156, and I'm going to get you to pull out your, in fact, though, if the clerk, y'all have a pair of scissors I could borrow real quick?
He's like, I got a knife.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 156, and I'm going to ask you, if you could, to open the sealed pouch at the top so we can see what's inside, if you could, please.
That's not how you hand somebody scissors. Welcome back in. Trying to wrap things up here for the day. Let's see how long we go. Maybe another half hour.
All right, now I'm going to ask you to hold on to that one. I ask you to return these back into that pouch if you could, please. All right, I'm going to put 156 on this particular exhibit, and can you tell the jury if you recognize that, what that is, please?
That is the buccal swab that was collected from Rogan Gibson.
Who collected that buccal swab?
I did.
Did Rogan consent to that buccal swab?
He did.
And did you secure it from any tampering and turn it over to crime scene?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time I would move states 156 into evidence, I believe without objection.
No objection.
You're admitted, or it's admitted without objection.
The courtroom's clearing out a little bit. Apparently everyone knows the lines form at the taco truck in the evening, so they want to get there early.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as states 155. For identification at this time, see if you recognize this particular item.
Yes, sir, I do.
And tell me generally what that is, please.
It's a property receipt for the buccal swab that we took, or I took from Mr. Alexander Murdock.
And that's the one from the video that has been played for the jury?
Yes, sir, it is.
At this time, Your Honor, I'd move states 155 into evidence, I believe without objection.
Submitted.
I guess that's a siren outside. Sounds weird. That's in the courtroom feed, not on mine. But so Rogan is one of Paul's good friends that had his dog at the Moselle Kennels. He lived around the corner from Moselle, was called
Straight to direct examination on Senior Special Agent Crawl.
And I think we will call it a day.
Judge is like, we've had enough.
Start at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Please do not discuss the case.
The jury's out of there. I do wonder why they passed the note to the judge at lunch saying, hey, please remind the gallery that we're supposed to be anonymous.
I'm not a camel.
Duty Sweeney, they haven't really got to the evidentiary report that proves their argument. In the opening statements, they basically said that
Are there any matters we need to address before the recess? We'll be in recess till 9:30.
Awesome. They basically said that his financial world was crashing down. The fraud, the house of cards he had built through theft, embezzlement, and everything else he had done was collapsing, and he was doing this to avoid basically paying the price. Let's see. What did I miss? Just came in and someone yelled, "I'm not a camel." Yeah, that was in there. 6-Volt Bus just came in with 5 gifted memberships. Courtney Alero, Blue Eyes Crying, Cajun Mama, Lindsay, and TR. You've got 6-Volt Bus to thank for your membership. Thank you very much, 6-Volt. Woohoo, 6-Volt. You guys are amazing. So yeah, we've the jury is supposed to be anonymous. Their names are not supposed to be publicly known. doing that 6-volt dance. It's like the 12-volt dance, but like half speed, right?
Squirrel!
Okay, I'm just seeing if we've got, I think we've got a video I'd like to try to share really quickly. Let's see. Let's see. Got to pull it up on Twitter here, just one second. And let me get it on the camera here. Okay. Okay, give me just 5 seconds here. This is going to be the full video from inside the gun room. So you guys want to watch this just for one moment. We've got to get this one out of here. It'll bring this one over. Where's that? Sorry, all my screens were busy doing other things, so it takes a second to move this one here. All right, so this is going to be the body camera footage. Let's get some audio here as well. I'm not sure how good this is going to sound. It might be a little loud, but take a look at the bullets, the way they're stored, the way they're opened, the way they're mixed, as well as just look around the room and enjoy the guns here. Oops, we need some audio here that's not coming in. Let's try that again. Nope, I'm not getting any audio on it. Okay. So there's the pool table. Got some nice leather chairs. Everyone's putting on gloves. Looking outside. This is when they're gathering up the shell casing from outside, I believe.
Down on.
There's the audio.
I need to collect them. I saw one over here. There's two right there.
Yes, he actually spent crazy.
We'll get a dynamic. All right, go ahead and pick that one up. There's two right there.
Yep.
They've been there a little while. Should be 300s. There's one to your right.
Yeah, 300, yep.
Yeah. And it was, I think there's 5 total I saw. Right here.
So somebody just opened the back doors, like just tested out a gun basically, and just shot off a few rounds. Pow, 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 pow. 5 times. Maybe shooting at a coyote or something in the field.
I could have been wrong. I was just trying to.
That's a pretty long open area behind it.
The orientation.
Wow. Yeah. See a 5.
So Matthew wants your wild conspiracy theory probed in depth.
We need to bag them separately. Don't rub them together too much. Keep from scarring them.
It's a nice property. You can see why it's just sold for $4 million. Get the metal detectors out. Seriously, I could find them all. I believe it's under contract, is what I saw. So offers accepted type thing. Not sure who's going to get the money from it. But
see if we can get one in each finger of this glove. It's a new glove.
They're seriously putting them in the fingers of the glove. This is the door they said they could go straight into the gun room, so you can access the gun room without going through the house. So I think this is the door they went in.
Sweating.
No.
We should do it. Could be haunted now. The home was showing it's under contract.
22 long rifle. All right.
I haven't heard a decision was made on any appeals. If they did, I wouldn't be surprised if they denied it. Let's see if they go back in and get some more footage in the room here.
So when autopsy is over, the funeral home, whoever
How you doing, sir?
decides to do,
There are the guns right there.
bring Paul and Miss Maggie back home, and then from there you can make arrangements. You make the arrangements as far as funerals and different things on y'all's timeline, not ours.
What's typical of the autopsy time?
So I'm not sure if it is scheduled for today. My guess. Do you know, Jeff, when the autopsy?
Not yet, I don't.
My guess.
I can find out and let you know. I'll step outside and call and see if they've already made.
Find out.
Yes, sir, in USC.
Yep, I'll step outside.
So I would imagine,
About a half hour ago, they have not started it yet, is what Rich Harvey, the coroner, told me.
okay, so that means they are in the process of doing it, they're already there. So, and they will come back home to y'all tonight. So then from there, you can,
He's just looking around.
Some
Lots of
of
toys.
the tests take longer as far as any kind of toxicology or gun stuff, anything like that.
I don't
That they
think
may.
it'll be insensitive, but because there are two people, it will take a little bit longer, but they will be able to return,
There are guns on the pool table too.
they will be able to return the bodies to y'all, or to the funeral home. But there are other tests, toxicology, tissue samples, results like that, that will take at least a month. But that will not affect
No.
making funeral arrangements at all.
Once
That's
they
why
get the
they
sample,
take it and return it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And they're done.
Yes, sir.
So if we tell Alex, give it a couple of days.
I'm gonna step out and call and see if the
So do you have an idea what funeral home you want to use?
So he's about to shut off his body cam footage here.
All right, cool.
This is when he calls his boss, I believe. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. Well, never mind, it's done.
Work for Colleton County Fire and Rescue.
And what is your position?
I'm the fire chief.
The fire chief of Colleton County Fire and Rescue.
Hang on, I don't want this one.
And how long have you worked at Colleton County Fire?
There we go. I don't need him. I don't know who he is. But let's go here. How about that instead? Okay, so there was that little video. That was fun. A golf bag with just a driver. Who does that? People with no short game, apparently. or no need for a short game. Yeah, reruns happen. I still need to change my settings on YouTube so it doesn't just run straight into another video. All right, I think that's it today. We've covered a lot of a very long court that's just gone and gone and gone. Let me get this over here. Get rid of everything I need gotten rid of. All right, I'm tired. I'm super tired. You guys saw it because I was falling asleep there a little bit. A few of you caught me. I'm hoping it gets a little better tomorrow, a little more exciting. We've got a lot of good evidence that's on the cusp of being brought in, especially when we start dealing with what we've got, the Paul's Snapchat. We want the proximity location, the cell phone data on where Alex Murdaugh's phone was at the time when he said he was going different places, and just have that, see if that matches up. Hopefully Blue Shirt Man will be testifying at some point. DMB's got a new favorite. Awesome. They found about a third of a mile from the house down at the dog kennels, which is basically a giant shed. Yeah, the phone, the location where they found Maggie's phone. Just one second. Let me make sure I can pull that up here. Got to get it off the burner phone. Just one second. Have to find it first on the burner phone. Lindsay, there we go. Found you. Okay. Let's throw this up on the screen. This will give you an idea as far as the location of the phone compared to where his house was. So this that field on the left, the 4147 Moselle Road, that pin is actually at the kennels, and that's the top on that. I mean, that top corner, that top left corner, that's where the kennels are. In the bottom right corner of that same field, that's where the house was. So that's at least, 100 yards between the kennels and the house, maybe 1,000. You think you could fit 10 football fields in there? Possibly. Probably 1,000 would be a little much. But then the other location, that other pin is way down the road, off in the trees, on the side of the road down there. That's approximately where it was found. So it'll be interesting to find out what information they got on Maggie's phone as far as fingerprints, if it had been wiped clean or what's up there. Carol, glad you could join us. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a little bit slow today. Hopefully not every day is slow. A little snoring. Thanks for keeping you company. Take care, everyone. Samantha, thanks for being here. Grumpy Cat, y'all come back now, you hear? I've been watching the Mark Jensen antifreeze trial. Closing arguments and jury instructions will start tomorrow. Joan, that's going to be interesting. Still a little too spicy for the channel, I think. I was falling asleep while trying to work. I hope everything is wonderful, even in Seattle in the morning. We all, I think, fell a little bit, had a little rest time today, just a little bit, except for Matthew Harris, who was taking notes for the cross exam. You're welcome, Eagles Prey. Thanks for being here. I appreciate all of you. Just want a trial that tops Darrell Brooks. We have a couple coming up. Oh, man, we have a couple coming up. There's one that started before Darrell Brooks, before Sarah Boone, and it has the best of both of them. So that'll be coming up later this springtime. 6 Volt Bus, thanks for your generosity. Thanks for the gifted memberships. You're amazing. Glad you're here. Wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you, everybody. We're gonna call it a night. Thank you, Southern Charm, and we'll be back again 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we've got more of this to go. Remember, after this trial, we've got Sarah Boone in April. We have the eye drop trial that we'll have to cover in the evenings. We'll probably do that in a couple. I think that's only a 3-day trial, if I remember right. That's in Judge Doro's courtroom, so we'll try to cover that one as well. We've got a lot. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up. Many things are moving forward. Hit the thumbs up on the way up. On the way out, please do. You mean there's someone crazier than Brooks? Yes, there is. And I think his name is Winburn. last name is Winburn, and he's got the signs he holds up in the judge. He was trying to be his own attorney, act as his own attorney, represent himself. The judge revoked that right. He's already had a mistrial. He was questioning in his first trial, he was questioning a witness about a murder they were involved in, and it went all haywire, and the court had to stop and restart a new trial. So yeah, it's crazy. He's got like 8 attorneys. Sarah Boone's only on her 6th, so it's crazy. Thank you guys. Have a good night. Please hug the people you love. Smile at someone. Make that day just a little bit better. And stay safe till we go live tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. We'll see you then. Almost there. There we go. All right. See you guys.